What is going on, everyone? AP over here at Rum Beer Sports, bringing to you once again the Strokes Gain Show. I got my two guys in here. We got Locks, we got Snyder. Snyder, let's bring you in first. Workbench Play of the Week, Colin Morikawa. Got it done for us last week. Snyder, your boy did it. Man, he did it. He helped me get some cash back. It was really nice. The floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, it was a good finish there on Sunday, but he kind of let us down though on Saturday. I mean, he was right there in position to potentially even make a run at winning that event. Kind of fell off a little bit, but had a heck of a finish there. What'd he go, like birdie, eagle, birdie in? I think that was his finish coming down the stretch there. Definitely good to get in. I think he finished like sixth, so that was a good deal. My guy Taylor Moore, I had him as a soldier. I think he shot 5 over on his last 6 holes to miss the cut by 1, so that was hurtful. But yeah, it was an all right week for us here. I hit a couple of plays over on Underdog too. I started diving into the Underdog streets there. Hit a 10x play on Friday, and then Sunday hit the 6x play. So going to be looking into that a lot more too. I think there's some pretty good lines and value over there. So looking forward to that as well. And jumping into this Honda Classic where I think we're going to be able to find some diamonds in the rough here and such.
Victory lapping 1 out of 89 times for Small Noodle. Cow, you know what? Chris Myers, he did not have a Small Noodle last week. I'll tell you that because we'll tell in DFS, we're going to take that all the time. And his ownership was so low too, relative to where I thought he should have been. I mean, that course is absolutely built for him. So we get the exact opposite. Now, I'll bring you in here shortly, Locks, and Snyder will obviously take us through the course preview. It's going to be really interesting because we get the exact opposite of what we had last week, stacked field, which was absolutely awesome to see. And this week going to be a much crappier field. Locks, let's bring you in, though. How was your week last week?
Yeah, the week went okay. Got some things right, got some things wrong, but we're still honing in the process. It's still early in the PGA season, so I'm just excited to be back to somewhat normal events, which is always good. It was nice to see Tiger make the cut. Obviously, he looked a little tired there on Sunday. I think the walk in 5 days is what kind of killed him a little bit. 4 is rough, but 5 is even worse with that Pro-Am. So completely different field this week. I was going to say that. It's a night and day difference. Last week, all the stars were out, and this week it's almost like we're looking at scrubs, but not really because they're all still good at golf. So it'll be interesting to break this thing down with you guys. And yeah, excited for Snyder's course preview.
Before we get into it, we gotta give our takeaways from last week. Snyder, I want to go over to you. What was your takeaway from the Genesis Invitational last week? What's something that you saw that you could take with you for future weeks that we're going to have to dive into?
It was a fun Sunday there. There for a while, I thought Rahm was going to blow up and kind of choke there again on another Sunday. He was good down the stretch there, proving that he's still on that another level than everyone else. Max Homa was right there. It's good to see. Will Zalatoris, I think that was a huge thing for me, seeing how good he played over the weekend. We know we were kind of tentative with him, kind of sitting out the week before with that elevated event, plays this elevated event. And just looked he looked very, very good over the weekend. I think he's right back in form. He's talking about trying to peak right before the Masters, and I think he's well on his way to peaking before the Masters and even the Players. I think in these next couple of weeks, it'll be interesting to see if he plays the API and the Players or what his strategy is going to be. But he looks to be fully healthy to me, so I mean, he's going to be a guy I'm looking to target here going forward. So it was good to see Zalatoris there. My guy Morikawa did make a little bit of a push there Sunday for us. And Ram Goat, though. Ram Goat wins, his 5th event? Was that his 5th win in like 9 events or something like that? Crazy like that or something? I can't remember what
Ram
was.
Ram is on another level right now. It's absolutely insane. Max Homa up there with them, too. Those two guys, absolute studs. I was impressed with Keith Mitchell hanging with them. That'd be very difficult to do. But Keith Mitchell, in my opinion, held his own. And it was impressive to see. Obviously, not the finish that he wanted to, but he was right there. Locks, what was your takeaway from the Genesis Invitational?
Yeah, just kind of a quick takeaway from me is we see all these guys that we call them dusty guys, right? Jason Day, Ricky Fowler, Rose, all of them, but we're seeing them all kind of fully get healthy here. What's that?
Matt Kuchar.
Yeah, Matt Kuchar, exactly. Yeah, Matt Kuchar. I mean, Harris English down there, he was dusty, and he was $60-some hundred last week. And it's a guy that we have seen win tournaments and can contend. With all these guys getting healthy and looking healthier, it's just the cream is rising to the top. I think in these majors, it's going to be super fun based off of what we're seeing. I mean, all these stars are just aligning for all these big names. Rahm, Rory, Morikawa. It's going to be like the Masters and everything is going to be nuts to watch, I think. I think all this top talent is just top talent, and the rest of these guys are so far behind them. But it's still fun to watch, and it's hard to pick each and every week, but we try to do our best.
All right. Speaking of Dusty, we got Uncle T in chat. Uncle T, what's going on, my man? Uncle T's texting me on, I think it was Monday or something. Had to be Monday. All right, Monday, because I was flying back home. Sending me pictures of the scorecard. Oh, look at how bad Rubio's doing. Oh, we're dunking on Rubio, owning Rubio. What Uncle T really wanted me to see was the score he was putting up. Uncle T put up a nice, tasty 83. Shout out to Uncle T. I want to know how many balls you fluffed up, Uncle T. I want to know how many, Uncle T is notorious, from what I've heard, for fluffing that lie up, giving that perfect lie and everything. Man, Uncle T, let me know. Let me know in the chat. How many times did you fluff your lie up, buddy?
Take it easy, Patrick Reed.
No, we're just it's all love, Uncle T, all love. I can't wait to battle you though. We got to get you in Nebraska. We got to get you at Firethorn. Tough course, toughest course in Nebraska. A really fun one to play. But no, 83 at Uncle T's course is a very, very respectable score. Not far off from his boy Big T, if I was looking at the scorecard correctly. So very impressive performance by Uncle T. Let's get to it, though. I love this week because we go from a loaded field to now a tough track in PGA National and a field that is not very tough. I mean, a field that is terrible, is chitty, and people just don't know what to do. We're going to see Sung Jae 40%. I mean, Sung Jae Im, 40%? Are you kidding me? And he's the highest priced guy. It's going to be absolutely crazy. I love this week. I feel very dialed in. Obviously, no NBA going on right now. So, I mean, look, when I'm out here tweeting threads like I did today, like, are you kidding me? Obviously, I'm bored out of my freaking mind. So I'm obviously dialed for this week. It's going to be a ton of fun.
Get that bracketology.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to lose to JJ's dad. That would be, all of you guys would dunk on me if that happened. So
that would not be good.
So yeah, if you're not following me, go over there and follow me on Twitter, AP8809DFS. That's my @. And Locks, follow Snyder as well. We got a little friendly competition going on over here at Rumpier Sports. Snyder, let me kick it to you though. Give us a course overview of what everyone should expect here at PGA National.
Yeah, I mean, we're back. The PGA Tour is going to travel cross country here. We're going to be at Florida this week as we were on the West Coast. Now we're heading to Florida here. We're going to have the Honda Classic here at PGA National. It's a par 70 measuring 7,125 yards. Larger than average greens here, Bermuda grass greens. Right around 7,000 square feet on average. They're going to be rolling at around 12 on the step meter. This is a very, very tough track here with the teeth of this course being the holes 15 through 17, the bear trap there. Those three holes play very, very tough coming in. I mean, no lead is safe coming down the bear trap there on Sunday. All these three holes are going to be exposed to the wind, have water in play. Very tough shots here. The bogey rate is very high on these, but there is a couple other holes that have high bogey rates as well. Hole 6, 30% bogey rate, even a 7% double bogey rate there. And then hole 10 has a 22% bogey rate. So plenty of trouble around the corner lurking for these guys. Bombers haven't really fared the greatest here the fairways here are more narrow here. There's a ton of water everywhere here. I think there's 15 holes with water in play here. The rough is actually going to play about a half an inch longer this year also at 2.5 inches. So I expect a lot of carnage out there this week. Bunch of tilting. I don't think I can go into Discord on Thursday. There's going to be only 2 par 5s here, and golfers must take advantage of those little opportunities that are present here for them guys. The cut line I expect to be over par like it has been for the last 5 years. And I'm looking for a winning score to be somewhere around 6 to 10 under par, I believe, here this weekend. Some key stats I'll be looking at as well this week. Strokes gained approach, off the tee, bogey avoidance, scrambling, around the green play, and proximity 125 to 150.
Very good. A couple things that I looked at just to add on to Snyder's fantastic breakdown there. It's just crazy how much these certain stats correlate to top 10 finishes here. So I went back multiple years, and when you're looking at strokes gained tee to green, obviously like your top 10 winners are going to typically do well in a strokes gained tee to green category. It's just how it is. However, I mean, when you look at it in 2022, the average for the top 10 was 6.48 strokes gained tee to green. In 2021, 6.23. And then in 2020, 8.46. And then if you look at approach, all very, very, very similar. And then the other thing was putting very well on these Bermuda greens. But the one stat that pops out more than any other for me, you got to score on these par fours. Inside the top 10 finishes averaged 6.4 strokes gained on par fours in 2022, 6.55 strokes gained on par fours in 21, 6.2 strokes gained in 2020. So that is, you want guys that are dialed in on these par fours. Can't make mistakes. A lot of water here as well. Those are the things that I'm looking at very closely. If you haven't yet, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Helps us out. Helps us to keep this free for each and all of you. And it helps us out. Follow me on Twitter. Follow Locks. Follow Snyder. That also helps us out. Locks, I know you got a code also. What's your code for all the people?
Very simple right here. Locks 15. LOX 15.
My kids are pranking me. I think they stole my lights. And, my kids had like the day off. I will not, like, I don't believe this at all. They had a snow day on Thursday, and then they had Friday off. They had Monday off, and now Tuesday is a teacher plan day. And so they had today off, and they're bored out of their freaking mind. And so now they're messing with me. So you're going to see the lights go all different colors. Nothing I can do about that unless I want to get out and beat them. Not something that I do. But let's keep this going. Let's dive into the winners. We're going to go tier by tier like we do each and every week. We're going to pick out a few guys that we're on, and then in every single tier, we're going to highlight a fade that we're on as well. There's only two guys in the 10K and up range. That's Sung J M at 10.7, Shane Lowry at 10.4. We're going to group them with the 9K range. Snyder, I'm going to start with you. What are you doing in the 9K and up range?
Yeah, I'm really tempted to just cross off both Sungjae and Shane Lowry. I mean, if I can cut off 60 to 70% ownership just right from the get-go, I think that's going to have me interested. I think that's something I'm interested in. So I know Sungjae's got great course history here, has been playing good, but I just don't know if I can play him at 40+% ownership. I think him and Lowry are just going to be fades for me. I think there's some guys below him that have just as much upside, if not better. So I'm just going to cut off 60 to 70% ownership there. It's just one of those weeks where we're going to see carnage. So I think just if I'm able to eliminate that much chalk, I can basically play almost whatever I want going down the board a little bit. So I like Chris Kirky there. He's coming in and I think he's going to be rather low owned here. It looks like maybe 10 to 15% ownership, 9.9. The price tag's up there, but he didn't miss the cut at the Waste Management Open, but that's one of those events that's it's different than normal most events. So I'm willing to give guys a breaks there if they're going to miss a cut there in a party atmosphere like that. But he was T3 in his other two events played this year at the Sony and the Amex. So I really like Chris Kirky. He's got pretty good form here too. He's gotten better every time over the last 3 years. He missed the cut in 2020. Then finished top 25, and then finished top 10 the year after. So I really like Chris Kirky. Denny McCarthy is another guy I'm looking at here. I think he's going to be somewhere around that 15% ownership range too. He missed the cut at the Phoenix Open as well, but did finish top 15 at the Genesis and was top 5 at Pebble too. So I think this course is going to set up really well for Denny. He has finished third here in 2021 and finished 30th here last year. So I think his game really sets up with this shorter, tougher track where he can get hot on the greens with that hot putter. He's one of the best putters on tour. So I'm going to be on Denny there. And I'm going to fade Min Woo also. I'm seeing his projected ownership possibly being like 15 to 20%. And what he's been playing really well overseas and such, but he does have a pretty high bogey rate over there. And if he makes some bogeys here, I think he can make some big numbers here. So I'm going to be off of him if he does get steamed up to like 15-20% range. I'll definitely be off of Minwoo there.
Yeah, very good. One thing that just continues to blow my mind is this ownership projection on Sungjae, where some sites are showing like 40%. I mean, are you kidding me? Like, I don't even think he's like golfing that good this year. I mean, Genesis, a second shot track, it should have profiled very well for him. He was terrible there. He did nothing. And we saw this last year with Sungjae Im at this course. He was so high owned and he missed the cut. I mean, if you do anything this week, you can fade him, and it's a plus EV move at that projected ownership. Now, if like for some reason he wasn't that high owned and you got him lower owned, I mean, obviously he'd be a good play then. But that's just not going to happen this week with the lack of studs up top. Locks, let me kick it over to you. 9K and up range. Who are you playing? Who are you fading?
Yeah, in this range for me, and I'll just speak on those top two guys right away. I plan on fading both of them as well, so I'm right there with you, Snyder. But if I were to choose one of them for the people that are going to kind of choose between one of the two, I would fade Lowry first. I mean, I just think he's way more dusty, which he is. He's chubby. I'll fade his ownership over Im. I just think Im is a way better golfer. The ball striking, tee to green, everything's just so much better. Around the green putting. I'll take him over Lowry, but I plan on fading both just on this ownership. It's just crazy to me. So I'll be starting most of my lineups with either Chris Kirk, Matt Kuchar, or Aaron Wise. I'd say those are probably my three favorite guys up here in this range if I'm looking at things. I want ball strikers. I want guys with decent around the green games. So that's where I'm kind of looking here. Approach is important too, but Kuchar's been playing really well, 32nd, 8th his last two events. He's one of my favorite plays up here. I don't see him getting too highly owned. Chris Kirk's a great call, Snyder. I'll be on him with you. He's gotten 2 third places, missed his last cutout, but he's been playing well here, 25th and 7th the last 2 years. So that's why I like him. And then Aaron Wise, he's got the ball striking every time he tees it up. He missed a cut here last year, but before that, 13th, 35th, 33rd. So another guy that can get hot if he gets the putter going too. Watch out for him. So those three guys, and then sprinkle a little bit of McCarthy as well.
Yeah, very good. Really interesting that we're all on. So, like, if you're a member and you go over to the heat map, you might fall out of your chair, as we often say, when you see my two fades there with Sungjae Im and Shane Lowry. But it's an ownership thing. I mean, if Sungjae is going to be 40% and Lowry is going to be 25%, which they very well could be, because that's where everyone is going to go. I just think, man, you get so much leverage right out of the gate just by fading them. I don't even think Sungjae's been playing that good. I think he's just way overpriced here. And I know people out there might not, price might not even matter this week, depending on what you're trying to do. So I think he's an easy fade at that projected ownership. And that's what I'm going to do. If he kills me, he kills me. But I'm telling you, when he busts and Discord is just like tilting like crazy, because everyone played him. It's like free cheese, man. It's free money with the leverage that you're going to get. You're going to pounce over everyone. You're going to be sitting in such a good position. I think like clearly in this range, there's two like plays that I think are incredible. But when you factor in how they play here, course history, how one of them is playing right now, and then the other one is just a full on. Like the leverage that we're going to get with ownership. So let me start with my first one. That's Billy Horschel. Billy Horschel rarely ever plays good out there on the West Coast. We know that. He doesn't play well out there. Get him on these Bermuda greens. Get him in the East Coast, and he typically shines. I love the fact that Billy Horschel, let me look at some owner. I'm showing like 12%, 10 to probably, it would be like probably 10 to 14, maybe 15% if he gets steamed up. But I mean, are you kidding me? I can get Billy Ho for cheaper, way, way, way cheaper than Shane Lowry, Sungjae Im, and at a much lower ownership. And just people hate playing Billy Ho, but I'm going to hop on. I already went through and dug up all these stats, and you will see guys that are in bad form that come here and do very well. There are cases every single year where guys come in missing, four of the last 5 cuts, and then they end up doing very well. Kurt Kitayama was one of them last year, and the other ones, just go look at my tweet. Be easier than me trying to remember what all I wrote up. But again, so if you look at Billy Ho, he's miscut T30, 32, miscut T30, and 56 over his last 5 events. I'm not worried about that because we're going to a track where his course history is awesome. He's going to be very familiar here. It's a weak field. Billy Horschel just always seems to capitalize on these weak field events. I expect he's going to do it this week. I think he's an awesome outright. If you want to bet his outright, I expect him fully bounce back here and be in contention. So he's one of my favorite plays. My other favorite play is back on that Dusty narrative. If you believe in the year of the dust, we saw Justin Rose already win. We've seen Ricky Fowler revitalize his golf game, and he's been playing incredible. We saw Locks be one of the first guys that got back on Jason Day. Jay Day's been freaking incredible. Matt Kuchar has also been incredible. The ball striking is there, and the putter is hot. And this course sets up so well for him. He can grind out pars with the best of them, capitalize on the par fours. He's very good on par fours, and sink some long putts. He's going to be right there in contention too. So I love Billy Horschel this week. I love Matt Kuchar, my 2 favorite plays in this range. I'm fading Sungjae Im. I'm fading Shane Lowry most likely. Lowry's the one I'm a little torn on. He almost hurt my feelings last year. I got lucky, I'll tell you. If he would have won that event, if it wouldn't have started downpouring, which definitely impacted him on 18, which is a par 5, that probably would have cost me a cool $30K. And because I don't know if Sepp Straka would have got that win, which is what I needed to win the $200 single entry. And so, I mean, that I did get a little lucky on. So I'm torn on Shane Lowry, but I'm definitely fading Sungjae Im, very high on Billy Horschel, Matt Kuchar, and then I like Chris Kirk as well. Let's keep this going. Let's go down into the 8K range. Snyder, I'm going to go back to you. Who are you on in the 8K range, and who are you fading?
Yeah, there's a few guys here I'm looking at. I'm looking at going right back to JT Poston here this week. AP talked about in that thread not needing great form here heading into this event. And Poston started out pretty good this year, but his recent form is not that good. A couple back-to-back miscuts, but he was good to start the year. It was 6th at the Amex, 21st at the Sony. I think my guy JT can battle back here. He has made 3 or 4 cuts here at this event. I really like going back to him. I think he's going to be like under 15%, so I like the upside that JT brings there. Johnny Vegas, I've been playing him the last few weeks, and I'm going to go right back to him here this week again. Wasn't the greatest last week with the 56, but 2 top 25s before that. I really like his course history here too. Finished, he's finished inside. He's made the cut the last 4 years. 16th is his best finish, but I think he's playing a lot better right now. He gained 4+ strokes ball striking in his last 3 events. I think he just needs to get that putter to maybe just zero out that putter, and I think he can almost contend or be close to contending on Sunday. And then I'm going to go to a guy I haven't played at all this year, but I was on quite a bit last year. He's just kind of lost, and this goes to that trend as well, as AP was talking about in that Twitter thread, not needing great form, and this guy definitely does not have great form at all. Cam Davis here. I think I'm going to take some shots on him in tournaments. I think he's going to be right around 5 to 7%, so it's not going to take too much to get overweight, but the upside he brings in a weak field like this, I really like the upside of Cam Davis in large field tournaments this week, so I'm going to have some of him. And then I was looking at playing Svensson, and it looks like he's going to be one of the more popular guys in this range, so I think I might be off of him. I think he's going to be popular there. He did miscut before that T9 heading in, and if he's gonna continue to lose ball striking, like he's lost 2 strokes plus ball striking in his last 2 events, if he does that here, I think he's going to be in trouble here. So I think I'm going to be off of Svensson as he's going to gain some steam here. I think going towards the event here on Thursday.
Yeah, very good. Svensson, yeah, T9 here last year did very well. Obviously, he has to be chalk too. He checks a ton of boxes, so definitely an interesting play or fade, whichever way you decide to go. Locks, kick it back over to you. 8K range. couple guys that you're on, and who are you fading?
Yeah, a couple guys I like in this range. One of them we saw play last week, and we haven't seen much of him this year, is Johnny Vegas at $8,600. I got a little bit of interest in him. He looked good to start out the week, kind of faded along there, 56th. Before that, 23rd, 25th. So he's in decent form. He's had decent success at this course, though. I mean, the last 4 years, 16th, 27th, 30th, 42nd. The ball striking is there. The putting just kind of let him down from what I've seen. And if he can just turn that around a little bit, I mean, he's got the ball striking to keep him in an event, and he can contend easily. So I'd say he's probably one of my favorite here. Another guy I'm looking at is Cam Davis as well. I had him with a question mark at first because I wasn't sure for the same reason. Snyder, obviously, he's playing like crap this year. Just recent form is awful, but he likes his course, 8th and 33rd. I mean, he's a guy, too, that he kind of goes as his putter goes. If he's got his putter working, he crushes every time. So I think he might be able to find it this week. He likes his course. So he's probably my next point of interest. And then I'm going to go with JT Poston as well. I've had him on my radar this whole time. 2 missed cuts, going to be kind of low owned because of it. But I actually think he's going to be the highest scoring guy in this range, in this 8K range personally. I know he's projected the best, so that's not saying much, but I really do think he's going to be easily the highest scoring guy in this range with my best shot to win, in my opinion, out of this range. The guys I'm fading, I'll name 2. Sepp Straka, I think, will get a little ownership just because he won here last year, 45th last week, so I'm going to fade him. And then I'm going to fade Adrian Meronk. Just based off the ownership. He hasn't played here before. I think he's going to be one of my fades as well with the 15-ish% ownership. Is he going to get some ownership? From what I'm seeing,
Adrian. I had him as a fade too. So let me start off with Sepp Straka because I agree with you. He was like 7K last year and 101 odds to win. And with everything that goes into being the defending champion, your interviews, all the eyes are on you. You're going to get most likely a good pairing, like where the cameras are going to be on you. Now, the thing that Sepp Straka has is he is money with his driver. Like he can pound these fairways, and that's what he did last year. And so if he can do that, obviously that's going to put him in a good position to grind out pars and create opportunities for birdies. But at this price tag and like Locks, I'm with you, and at like a projected ownership of maybe like over 10%, like I think it's absolutely insane. Like I think he's a terrible play. I have him in my pool just because I feel obligated. Like I have to. I can't full fade him. He's going to be like a 5% play for me. So I'm going to be underweight the field if he comes in at 10%. But I think he's a bad play, even though I workbench play last year, obviously, and got the win. Things change. I just don't think many things factor into ownership and all that. So I'm with you on the Sepp Straka. I got to say under, not full fade for me. But yeah, the 8K range I think is really, really interesting. A lot of these guys are going to, on paper, statistically pop, and which is going to be kind of interesting. Like Johnny Vegas is one of those guys. He ranks first. So I'm always looking at last 24 rounds. He ranks first in tee to green. He's been awesome at finding fairways. He's green regulations gained. He ranks 10th. What's letting him down right now is his putter, and he doesn't check the box right now on par 4 scoring. Again, that could turn around. He's got good history here. He's made the cut 5 years in a row. I like Vegas. I'm going to be probably like he's one of those guys that I'm going to be in line with the field, maybe slightly over, maybe slightly under, depending on the ownership projection that I have on him, depending on where he's at there. So it's just one of those guys. I don't want him to kill me. I want him to be in the pool, but like I'm not going to be like heavily over or heavily under. So that's my stand on Johnny Vegas. The other guy that I'm leaning to do the same with, honestly, is Adam Svensson. I just think, man, this guy is a awesome ball striker. T9 last year. This course just seems to set up very well for him. So I'm kind of torn on him as well. JT Poston, Snyder, I'm with you. I got him in my pool as well. And then my one guy that I really like. So I was torn at first, but Harris English, we've been talking about him for a little while now. And what we said was we needed to see something positive from him. This is a guy with a PGA Tour winner. He if he was coming in decent form, he would be upper 9K range, maybe 10K range, depending on how that form is. Obviously, coming back from his injury last year, which he should be well past. Now it's just getting the game back and getting that feel back. But man, like what we saw last week, so he finished T12 at the Genesis. He did it all putting and around the green, which are not things that I'm looking at here. But sometimes with a golfer like that who is very good, all they need is something right to happen in their game, and then everything else starts to click. That's what I'm seeing with English. I think people are going to be cautious with him. I think ownership is going to be very low still. I think he's the perfect guy to get right around 20 to maybe 30% at most, and you're going to be probably 3 times the field if you do that, maybe 3.5 times the field. That's the perfect way to play Harris English for me. So that's what I'm doing with this range. And then, yeah, my fade / under is Sepp Straka. Let's keep this going. Snyder, take us into the 7K range. 3 to 4 golfers that you like, and then a couple fades.
Yeah, there's a few guys down here I like. I've been playing a lot of these guys quite regularly. Robbie Shelton, I think this is a fair price for him. He's got some pretty good upside. I think he's a rather safe mid-range option here. I feel the iron game has been strong. Just needs that putter to kind of heat up a little bit. So I like Shelton down here. Mr. Malinetti's down here, 7.1K. He's been a soldier a couple times this year. He's been doing well. 3 top 20s here in his last 4 events. I think he's going to come in like 5% or less. So I really like Mr. Malinetti at 7.1. Mark Hubbard's another name right there. I think he hurt some feelings a couple weeks ago when some people rostered him, but I'm going to go right back to him there. Course history is pretty solid here. 15th, 46th, and 11th in his last 3 trips here. 7K. I don't think anybody's really going to go to him. I think he'll be under 10% for sure. Maybe somewhere in that like 5 to 8% ownership range. I could see Hubbard coming in at 7K, so I like that. Adam Schenk, I think he's a really good value at 7.2. Last year, he was very, very consistent cut maker. He's been a consistent cut maker this year as well. He's made his last 4 cuts, 50th, 23rd, 37th, and the 20th in his last 4 events. So I really like him down there. And I think I'm going to fade Lee Hodges here. It looks like he's going to get some steam here. He did make the cut last week at the Genesis, finished 18th. Good event there. Does have a good finish here at this event. Last year he finished 9th, but he does have 3 missed cuts. And I think I'm just going to get off of a guy like that. If he's going to be chalk, I don't think he's going to bury me if he's going to be chalk is what I'm getting at. Maybe he'll get like 20th here or something. That'll be fine. I think the other guys around him at much lower ownership are just as good as plays. So I'm going to be off of him. Like I'd take like almost like a Will Gordon or a Davis Riley. I think they're fine. SH Kim's going to be low. And I think there's some good value tournament plays here, which you guys will probably hit on a few of them as well too. Ben Taylor's another guy, but mainly on like Shelton, Malinetti, Schenk. I think those are my favorite options here in this range.
What ownership projection do you see on Lee Hodges? He's one of those guys that on paper statistically checks a couple boxes, but like, man, I'm telling you, this is one of those plays where if he's going to be like, if the ownership is going to be like crazy high, because when you look at, all right, so the popular thing now, you know, the Sims, obviously we are partnered with SaberSim. We feel they are the best. When they run Sims, they're still based on stuff. They're still based on the statistics that go into it, who profiles the best. And so a lot of these guys in this range, they're going to profile very well statistically. That's just going to bump ownership up a ton. And now that's just being amplified, in my opinion. But what are you seeing? Like, what do you think his ownership is going to be, Lee Hodges?
I think he's going to come in somewhere like in between 14 to 18%, I think, is somewhere around there, which is not terrible. But I think he could even – I think some people are starting to – I've listened to a couple of podcasts out there. A couple of people are talking him up. It wouldn't surprise me if he hit like maybe even 20% come Thursday morning or something, though.
Yeah, very interesting. I'm with you on that. I'm torn on what to do, like if I want to play him or not. I got to look at my heat map. But ownership, like the heat map is going to, if you look at it Tuesday, it's most likely going to change heading into like Wednesday night when I make my final updates. But Locks, let's kick it over to you. 7K range. Who are you on in this range? And then give us a couple fades.
Yeah, I'm with him a little bit. If Hodges is going to be up there, I'm with him on the fade. I just say if he's going to be 15% or so, I had him on my list, but I'm kind of leaning towards the fade a little bit, or at least under on him at that price. If I'm looking in this range, there are quite a few names. I think I had a dozen names I wrote down out of this range here, and I just find myself ending in this range a lot because I'm not getting up top to the top guys, so I'm probably going to end with a lot of these guys if I'm playing 9K guys with them. But just generally looking at this range right away, the few names that jump out at me, Eric Van Rooyen in your lineups is, as you would say, AP. I do like him this week.
I like him as well.
So I think he's a great play this week. He's got winning upside, great ball striker. He just needs the putter to get hot. It drives the ball well as well. So I like him this week. Super low ownership. I'm seeing possibly sub 5% almost on him. So I love him this week. I like Hayden Buckley. I like Ben Ahn. I like Aaron Rye, Ben Griffin, Davis Riley. There's a bunch of names up here that I like a lot that I think you can kind of live in this range and be okay. A lot of guys, Davis Riley, I think I mentioned there, Ben Taylor as well. And another fade for me is a guy that Snyder actually likes is Peter Malnati. Yeah, he's been playing well recently in 3 of his last 4 events, but 2 missed cuts here in his last couple times here. I don't see it. He was on my fade list this week, so I'm not going to be going along with Snyder on that one. Normally we're kind of in lockstep on that type of stuff, but I'm going opposite of there, Snyder. Not liking your boy Malnati. And then are you guys seeing Padraig at like 15% for some reason? Or is that wrong?
Who?
Padraig
Harrington?
Am I seeing that completely wrong?
I think that's a little wrong. I know you're looking. I think that's a little wrong. I think he's going to be like 8 to 10% though,
Okay.
which is kind of wild.
Yeah, even that. I mean, that guy's not even close to my pool. So, I mean, fade that ownership all day. He's going to be another one of my for sure fades once I saw
Has
that.
he been like playing well overseas or something? I mean, Padraig Harrington?
I don't know.
I guess like he's a guy that could grind out pars.
But either way, I would say don't play him if you're seeing that ownership, because I know some guys, and I'm just saying that because I know some guys that play DFS and they're like, oh, this guy's high owned, he should be good, and he's cheap. So they kind of view it that way. I would steer away from that personally. So my fades, if I'm going down again, Hodges, who was I talking about? Padraig, and then Malnati. Those are my 3 fades.
Yeah, very, very good. I'm going to start with the lower end of this range and just playing off that narrative that guys that have been playing good, but are in bad form recently, like over the last 24 rounds, which is typically what I look at, they tend, like, we see them do well here. And so I'm going to a guy that I usually fade because like the cash guys love him, but that's Callan Tarum. We most notably, we saw him at the Waste Management, and he went straight to get some beers after his round the other day. Did you guys see that? I mean, when I saw that, this dude's an absolute hero. No, but seriously though, he's going to be like 2 to 3% owned in this range, and you can't tell me that like some of these other guys that he's around like have any more upside than he does. It's just one of those plays where it's like he's missed 3 of his last 5 cuts. And if you just go back a little bit further, though, he's showing a lot of upside. I like him here. I think he's going to be a really good tournament play. If we fully want, we'll work our way up. If we fully want to, now no one's going to like this. I promise you. No one is going to like this at all. I don't even know if I like this yet, but I might be selling myself. Uncle T is going to be rolling. He's going to be dying, and he's going to be making fun of me. But that is the risk that I'm willing to take here. If this truly is the year of the dust, where they make their return, where these dusty guys, former guys that were once awesome and then have struggled of late, if they return to form, it's going to be tested this week. In Webb Simpson, 7,300. I'm tempted, guys. I'm very, very tempted to play him if he's going to be lower owned. I think my one fear with Webb, I actually have a lot of fears with Webb Simpson, so I don't have just one fear, but my one fear is he's a name down here at 7,300, and there's going to be all these other names that no one knows like who to click. So you're at your average guys that play, guys or gals that play might be tempted to click Webb Simpson. Snyder, what are you seeing for ownership on Webb Simpson this week?
I'm seeing him right around 5% or so. I don't think.
Oh, Nate, this isn't hockey, bro. Go watch hockey. You got like a million tickets in the 444. Go sweat that, my guy. No, shout out to Nades in chat. No, well, Zach Johnson is on my list too. I kind of like him. But no, I mean, all right. So the thing about Webb is if this it's a weak field. Obviously something's wrong with his game. But we've just randomly see guys like, look, Gary Woodland, a prime example. Gary Woodland last year came into this thing like dust. We never thought we'd see like Gary Woodland do anything ever again. Why isn't that Webb Simpson this week? You know what I mean?
AP, I'm with you.
Are you? I mean, it's the same play.
I'm with you on Webb this week. I'm with you on
Webb
this week. I don't know why. Do it. I have a feeling too.
I mean, I look up and I see Padraig Harrington's going to be 10%, and Webb's going to be what, 5 to 7?
At the same price.
At the same price. I mean, guys,
going along with that, I mean, Padraig has 4 missed cuts at this event his last 4 times, and Simpson has a 5th and a 36th.
Okay. I mean, all right. Let's keep the Dusty narrative going, and let's roll it into Danny Willett, a guy I like. Now, Danny Willett actually is bringing in some really nice form. T18 at the Genesis, and then a T41 at the AT&T Pebble Beach. But before that, a couple withdrawals and then a missed cut. What I love about Danny Willett, this guy can grind. His putter's hot right now, but his par 4 scoring ranks very highly. And also he's finding fairways better than most of the field. I love Danny Willett this week as well. Those are going to be some of the grinders that I am on. And then you have your guys here that just they pop statistically. Aaron Rye, Hayden Buckley. Like, I'm going to mix these guys in, but at the same time, I'm going to be watching ownership projections and everything else in the industry very closely, because these are the guys like the Lee Hodges. If they get talked up and if ownership goes through the roof, which can happen this week since there's so many unknowns, unknown golfers in the field, I'll lean to a fade. It's just how I play the game. So, but I do love Aaron Rye. He ranks very highly in the things that I'm looking at. Par 4 scoring, good drives. He ranks first overall in the field. I know. He wears 2 gloves and he puts covers on his irons. Locks. I mean, you're a former professional golfer. I mean, if you see a guy rolling up with 2 gloves and iron covers, what do you do?
I asked to go to a different group.
He's going to be so hard to play.
I used to caddy too, and did I hate caddying. Oh, when I saw guys with iron covers, I'm like, nope, next bag. Man.
Stuff. I mean, that's crazy. So, anyways, the 7K range it's going to be really interesting. I think there's a lot of really good plays. I think there's a lot of really good leverage plays. I think the way you play it, keep an eye on ownership projections, and then, make stands. And also, like, be willing to, like, adjust, too. Like, if a guy gets steamed up and you had him on your list and you liked him but you didn't, like, love him, be fine with moving to someone else. So I think the 7K range is really interesting. I think we're going to see someone make a move that's going to make a difference at tournaments, whether it's like Callum Tarrant, post on the top 10, maybe T5. Webb Simpson, maybe he shows up. Maybe it's a Danny Willett, or maybe it's a chalkier Joseph Bramlett or Aaron Rye. I think those guys should be the guys that get steamed up because they profile so well as far as statistics goes. But we will see. I think the 7K range, though, is very interesting. Let's keep this going. If you haven't yet, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Helps us out a lot here over at Rumpier Sports. Snyder, take us into the Dusty 6K range.
Yeah, I've got a takedown here. I think I found a guy who might even be the best play on the whole board this week. I really like this guy named Eric Cole. He finished. He's just off the Korn Ferry Tour from last year. Finished T3 at the Korn Ferry Tour Championship. He's made 6 of his last 7 cuts on tour, coming off a T15 at Pebble. He lives here in Florida too, just south of Palm Beach Gardens here, about 45 minutes. The irons have been solid for him. He's gained around the green in every start on tour here. So I really like Eric Cole for 6.9K. I don't think
hashtag nice.
Yeah, no one's gonna play him. He'll be like 5% owned. So I really like him. Dylan Wu is another guy I could look at here. Gained over 5 strokes approach at Pebble lost 1.5 putting there. Still finished inside the top 30 there.
What? Dylon Wu?
Yeah.
Snyder, now you're just trolling us, man. Dylon. Who are you even talking about?
I was just waiting to see who would say anything. I think that's what Mayo calls him.
Dylon? Oh, Dylan?
Dylan Wu.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think
I gotta
Mayo
take a
calls
laugh
him
after that one.
Dylon, so I was calling him that. But yeah, I like him. He finished 32nd at the Amex too. I think he's got some decent form heading into here. Kevin Tway's been another guy I've been on in these 6Ks here as of late. He's really got good upside here, I think, for the 6K range in this weaker type field event. 5 of 6 cuts made this year. I really like him down here. There's some other dusty guys I'll have in the playbook too, but those are the guys that are really standing out to me the most. If anybody in this range gets popular, like 7 or 8 or 10% owned, I'll definitely immediately fade him if I see that ownership get up there.
Dylon Wu. Do you also like Dylon Fratelli, Snyder? I mean,
Dylon Fratelli?
Gosh. All right, Locks. I don't know if that. I don't think that's going to be too hard to beat, my guy. But 6K range. Who are you on?
Go right back to it, Locks.
What if I tell you that there's one name below 6,500 I'm going to play, and his name was Rory Sabatini? How about that? Does that beat that? Does that beat Dylon Wu?
I'm always a sucker to play Sabs, man. So talk to me. Why do you like him?
I like him for course history. I mean, his price is freaking cheap. The guy can still contend. I mean, we saw him contend a decent amount last year. Yeah, he's not in the best form, but course history, these guys, especially with how long he's been on tour, when you got that good of course history, it just means that you like the course and it fits you well and you feel more comfortable. And I know how it feels at comfortable courses. So that's why I'm okay playing him. I'm not literally the only reason I said that is because I'm fading probably every single other guy under $6,500. I'm just not going to go there. So he's the one guy I did want to mention way down at the bottom, AP. And then if I'm getting up towards the top here, I mean, there's only a few guys. I don't really see myself in this range much. I'm not going to need to go here because I'm not playing those top guys. But if I'm going down here, I mean, Smotherman's interesting. Not great form, but I think the guy, he can get hot for us. He just needs to string it all together. We see him have one bad round, one good round, and then he misses the cut just barely. But my favorite 2 guys in this range are Akshay Basia. I love him this week. I think he's going to be under 5% owned. Great ball striker.
Akshay? Yeah, he's my boy. Akshay? Yeah. Akshay's my boy.
Yep. So I'm playing him. I like him probably the most out of all these guys. Great ball striker. His putting's been letting him down a little bit, but I think he can contend here. A weaker field, so definitely interesting to me. And then the other guy I do like, I was going to mention Eric Cole as well. I just think he's a great ball striker. He's a great player. He's on the Korn Ferry, 15th in his last event out. Missed the cut before that, but 36th, 61st. He's making a lot of cuts, and that's what you need from guys down here, especially good ball strikers and stuff. So those are probably my 2 favorite guys I like. Maybe a couple other guys I'll mention is Eric Barnes. I wasn't really thinking about Dylon Wu, but maybe I'll think about him if he's a Snyder soldier or something. But other than that, yeah, I'm fading most of this range. I'm not going to end here much.
Yeah, very good. Austin Smotherman also a withdrawal this week. So again, keep an eye on. No, I mean, yeah, no, not a big deal at all. Again, if you want to follow that, obviously I'm always big on news, especially with the NBA. But our guy Rob Bolton on Twitter, just search that up. He tracks all of that and does a phenomenal job. And his write-ups are good. I always enjoy reading his. I don't know him, no affiliation or anything like that. But I was obviously he's plugged into the PGA better than most, and he's a great follow. Go ahead, Lux.
One other guy I was going to mention was Satoshi Kadera. I do like him this week as well.
Yeah, so I love Satoshi. I think he's going to profile. He's a guy in this range that I just think profiles very well at this course. He's made 3 of his last 5 cuts. And the thing is, his history here isn't that good, but I'm not worried about that. I like how he's playing right now. He's finding fairways, ranked 7th in good drives, and 11th in tee to green strokes gained tee to green, and he's okay on the par fours. And his approach game right now is dialed. So we need him to do a couple things. We need him to play the par fours well, and we need him to make some putts, and I think he can do that. The other guy that I love this week, he's on the workbench play. So like I always, as I'm going through my process, people used to think like it was a joke or whatever, but the bench play is usually who I'm like highest on. Like my ownership wise, it's usually going to be my highest guy. So it's not a joke. I spent a lot of time, considering who that play is going to be. I had Andrew Novak on my list. I don't know if I'm going to go there because I see some better ownership plays, and he's going to be like 1.5% owned. No one's going to play him. So it's like I don't need to do a lot to get way overweight on him. But I see a lot of similarities to Sepp Straka last year. The guy, so he last year was his rookie year. He had a mixed bag, a mixed year. The results are starting to come up. His tee to green game is very nice relative to where he was at this point last year. We've seen some good finishes. T12 at the Sony Open, T20 most recently at the AT&T Pebble Beach. And he's made 3 of his last 5 cuts. And he actually has experience here. He's played this track twice, missed the cut last year. And then one of his first ever PGA events was out here in 2018, finished T57. So, again, I'm not that worried about that course history for him at all. I just like how he's playing right now. I love the price that we're going to get on him, too. I think he can post a top 10 here. I don't think it's going to be a spot where he contends, but you never know. So I love Andrew Novak. I don't think he's going to be the bench play, but he's going to be someone I have right around 15 to 25%. So I'm going to be extremely overweight the field on him. And then Cameron Percy is another guy that's kind of popping for me. And this range, I'm going to make a lot of cuts in this range as well. And so like Snyder, I'm kind of torn on your boy. You might have sold me. I think it was Eric Cole, right? And then Soon You'll Know is what our boy Kurt says. And then Chesson Hadley, a guy that I always love going to, but I can't do it. I'm going to be fading those guys. I'm going to make a lot of cuts in this range.
Cole over Piercy, though.
What?
I said definitely play Cole over Piercy. Piercy's old and dusty.
Yeah, I could do that. I could definitely do that. And so I'm kind of torn, but I know I'm going to make a lot of cuts in this range because I really like the bottom tier 7K range and the 8 and 9K range. And so that's kind of how I'm going to finish out my builds. So Andrew Novak, though, my favorite notebook play, if you want to call it that, in the 6K range. Snyder, let's go back to you. Let's get to our winners. This is a great long shot week. I'm going to find someone to put some bets in for me, or I'm going to drive up to Iowa and get some long shot bets in. You can make a really nice card. Let's just say you want to, put $200 in play, $300. You can create a really nice long shot outright card and spread it a few different names, and it'll make this event even more fun. It's just a great week to do that if you're fading Im and Lowry, etc. So, Snyder, let's go over to you. Who do you think is going to win, and then give us a long shot?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with – I like the odds on Chris Kirk at 30-1 in this field. So I'm going to take Chris Kirk at 30-1. I like those odds, especially when you factor in the DK price. I think that makes him look all right on the betting boards. And then for a long shot, I'm gonna go with Eric Cole right there at 110-1. I think he's a guy that could get hot here, and 110-1 odds isn't bad for Eric Cole there.
Yeah, very good. Gosh, just looking at some of these, and I'm looking at MGM odds that when they initially came out. I mean, Matt Kuchar, 25. He's the guy like the 4th best odds. I mean, he's such a good DFS play this week if his odds are that good. Locks, let's go to you, though. Who do you think is going to win? And then give us a long shot.
Yeah, if I'm looking at it this week, I think I'm going to go with Aaron Wise hoisting this trophy. I'm going to call Aaron Wise winning the tournament this week. My long shot is going to be Eric Van Rooyen, your lineups. I think I'm gonna go with him to win it. I see the upside there, and at a super cheap price. I just think he's too cheap in this field. I wouldn't say that on any given day, but in this field, he's just too cheap. So at 80-1, I think is what I see him. I think Eric Van Rooyen is my long shot there.
You can get him at 100-1 at DK if you want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
100-1. I like that, and I can get on board. I got Billy Ho winning. Snyder, do you have his updated odds? I'm showing 28-1, which I think is crazy.
DK has him at 25-1 right now.
20, yeah. Billy Ho 25-1. Absolutely love that. And then I got to go to what do they got Webb Simpson at? I know I got to double down. I got to do it. How many wins does he have on tour? 90-1.
Yeah.
90-1? I mean, one, maybe it means he's a terrible play, and everyone's just going to laugh at me, but I'm fine with that. I mean,
he's
you're telling
right there next to Padraig Harrington. Padraig Harrington, 70-1.
If you're him, you look at this field, there's no big name. Sungjae Im, Lowry are the, you got your Webb Simpson, you're a major winner. You got a ton of PGA Tour wins, a resume that checks a ton of boxes, except for you're playing like shit right now. So, I don't know. I think 90-1 for a guy like him, even though he's in bad form, if something clicks early, he'll get back into that form. You need something to click early, though. I think a lot will be telling in round one. If he comes out and sucks round one, that's why you don't go all in on a play like that. You mix him in, you get 3 times the field in MME, or you just put an outright on him, and that's how you play it. But Webb Simpson is 90-1 long shot for me. So, Snyder, final thoughts this week.
Yeah, looking forward to this event. We're going to have the playbook up on site here soon. Yeah.
BJH, Billy Ho winning a tournament. He won last year. He won late last year. And it was on the East Coast, my man. He's got more wins than a lot of the dudes in this field. So, come on, man. I mean, we live in such a what did you do for me last week or yesterday world. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Not everybody's
We're going to get Billy Ho at such low ownership. It's going to be phenomenal. Go play your Sungjae Im at 45% owned, dude. I'll take Billy Ho at 10%.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you. But yeah, excited for this event. I think we're going to find some advantages here. I think a lot of people are just going to plug in the same lineup more or less this week. And I think we're going to find some ways to get different over here. They'll have the premium show tomorrow. A Big T and Tambo will be on that, breaking down everything from a more strategic standpoint as well. We'll have the playbook up tonight. I'll have some more underdog plays out too this week. I'm going to run those back more so in play, like Thursday or Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'll have something with that, most likely in the Discord. So use that promo code Snyder15 for 15% off. Get yourself all of the premium content we have, plus Saber Sim. So go on, use that Snyder15. And yeah, we'll have the Showdown playbooks up too. We're going to have Showdown shows as well. So yeah, we're going to be absolutely loaded here as we get through this event. And then we're going to have 2 elevated fields coming up in the next 2 weeks. So extremely excited for what's coming forward.
BJH Blitz. Look right down here, buddy. Right down here. Our boy Landon knows. Landon knows what's up. All love, my man. All love. Locks, what's your final thoughts this week?
Yeah, just pay attention, obviously. We got some withdrawals here. For me, if you're choosing between people, just my final take here is when you're down choosing between 2 or 3 guys, for me, it's like AP said earlier in the show, par 4 scoring. I think that's very important around the green game, and putting. I think if you're choosing between a couple guys, those are the 3 most important stats, I think. So if I'm choosing between a few guys at the end, those are going to be my stats I'm looking at.
My final thoughts are simple. Keep an eye, track ownership, projections, keep an eye on who's going to get talked up. I'm with Locks. Par 4 scoring is huge here. Again, there's going to be a lot of tilt. It's not going to be like a birdie fest. This track is tough. I'm with Snyder. I think we could see single-digit winner here as far as the final score goes. So you want your grinder types. That's why I like Webb Simpson. He knows how to win on tough tracks.
It's going to happen,
Matt Cooch. What?
It's going to happen.
I know. I am going to have to drive up to Omaha and get a card. These are the best weeks to get an outright card. You don't have to put that much at risk, and it just makes it even more fun. And, include that in with your DFS action. But that's my final thoughts this week. Again, if you haven't yet, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Helps us out a ton over here. Give us a follow on Twitter. We got a couple codes, Locks15, Snyder15, for 15% off your membership over here at Rumpier Sports. I'm AP. That's Snyder. That's Locks. Snyder, get us out of here.